Hi everyone, I'm Emily Longeretta.
And I'm Michael Schneider, and welcome to Variety's Awards Circuit, where we're looking at some of the key television categories at this year's SAG Awards on February 26th. And this time out, we're looking at the male actor categories. And Emily, why don't you kick us off with some drama?
All right, we have some good people here. Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul, Jason Bateman for Ozark, Adam Scott for Severance, Jeff Bridges for The Old Man, and Jonathan Banks for Better Call Saul. I love the Jonathan Banks add-in.
That was a surprise, partly because up until now, only Odenkirk had been nominated. Now, I do worry that they cancel each other out, which would rob Bob Odenkirk from, the final chance of getting some love for Better Call Saul, which is so deserved.
I know, absolutely. I also really love seeing Jeff Bridges in there for The Old Man. I think a lot of people kind of almost forgot about it. I'm very happy. I love Jeff Bridges.
He went from the dude to the old man. It's nice to see this evolution for Jeff Bridges.
Quite a transition there.
Nonetheless, you do have finales in both Ozark and Better Call Saul as well. So last chances for Odenkirk, for Jonathan Banks, and for Jason Bateman in all these iconic roles. So be curious to see if they go that route, or if the voters want to do something newer with Adam Scott and Severance, and to see Adam Scott's career trajectory. It's also been so fascinating to see him go from a lot of comedy, Parks and Rec, etc., to doing more drama like in Big Little Lies, and now, of course, in Severance.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a great group, and I think that it's the same for comedy. It's such an embarrassment of riches, almost.
Yeah, and again, a mix of old and new. So you've got Jeremy Allen White from freshman sensation The Bear. You've got Bill Hader from The Favorite Barry. Of course, from Only Murders in the Building, you've got both Steve Martin and Martin Short, who are returning from last year. And then the surprise nom in this category, Anthony Carrigan from Barry. Again, it's kind of interesting to see some of these. Generally they're considered supporting actors, but because there is no supporting category at the SAG Awards, every once in a while, some folks who usually compete in supporting are up to the regular, but now they're up against the leads.
It's exciting to see, but I do worry about the canceling out for a Barry fan to be like, half and half. Same with Martin Short and Steve Martin. It's like they're up against each other.
And that makes for an interesting category because then when you have all these actors competing against each other and potentially canceling each other out, that opens the door for, Jeremy Allen White.
Who is the moment right now. Everyone's talking about him. He took home the Globe and the Critics' Choice. So I think he's really on a high right now. And that to me would be the biggest surprise. Very, very exciting time for the Bear fans.
Yeah, and if you had come a year ago before The Bear premiered and said, you know what, who's the front runner this year? Jeremy Allen White, the guy from
Shameless?
From Shameless?
Who never got anything? It's bizarre.
He's the comedy front runner?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm here for it.
How great. How great is that?
Yeah. Well, next up we have the movie or limited series category, and we have Evan Peters for Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, Paul Walter Hauser from Blackbird, Taron Egerton from Blackbird, Steve Carell for The Patient, and Sam Elliott for 1883. I was pretty surprised but happy to see Steve Carell, and I know you're smiling because you've been pushing for Steve Carell.
Yeah, The Patient is a show that I don't know many people saw, just because there's so much television out there right now, but it's from the creators of The Americans, and it's an interesting psychological thriller that mostly takes place in a basement. But that means that you have to act, because there's nothing else going on down there except for your acting. And Carell, who of course, as we know, has become an amazing dramatic actor, really nailed it in this. And so I was happy to see The Patient there.
Yeah.
Also happy to see Sam Elliott.
I love to see Sam Elliott.
I know you're a Sam Elliott fan.
I am. Who isn't? Talk about someone who can act.
Yeah.
This man is so incredible. In 1883, we haven't seen a lot of Yellowstone love.
It's interesting because Yellowstone was nominated last year at the SAG Award for Ensemble. It was snubbed this year. Strangely enough, the show has gotten bigger, but this was the year that they decided to pull it out. I don't understand.
But they decided to recognize the prequel just in this category.
Yeah.
So this one, to me, is anyone's game, but I would say also, we can't forget about Blackbird. A lot of people have been talking about Blackbird, and they got 2 noms here.
Yeah, and Paul Walter Hauser obviously won at the Globes and gave one of the speeches of the night.
Sure.
One of the interesting speeches of the night. But, this is another classic situation of, do the 2 Blackbird actors cancel each other out? But probably one of the big shows of the year, of the fall especially, Ryan Murphy's Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story.
I think Evan Peters has a very, very big chance of winning this because this is such a horrific role, but one that he really disappeared into.
A lot of serial killers in this category, I'm now just realizing. So which serial killer do you want?
This is the world we're in.
Yeah.
This is so
I mean,
we're living
literally
in.
every one of these shows except for 1883, or were there serial killers in that one too?
No, there wasn't.
But every other show has a serial killer.
Yeah, it's definitely a trend.
Good times. And on that note, that's it for now. Please join us again for another edition of Awards Circuit.
Thanks for watching.